Good morning. Welcome to the JagCorner. This is your first time here. I'm Will Thorpe. I'm a artist and programmer for BitJag. I'm also the host of the JagCorner, if that means anything. Thanks for joining me. Again, it feels a little duct tape this morning. Haven't done an audio test or anything, but I wanted to start a little bit earlier because of some news items. Let me jump over to the browser. If you've been on the Atari Age forums or following, I think his name is Swap Zero on Twitter, you've been seeing stuff about the open LoRa engine on the Atari Jaguar, which is basically Tomb Raider on the Jag, which is awesome. And I wanted to show that. I actually wanted to stream that this morning because it seems like some people are having some trouble getting it to work. I think it's working everywhere now. It's working in the emulator, on the Jaguar game drive, and the skunk board. They were having some rough times, and I don't think anybody streamed it so far. I don't know. I know people have talked about it. Open LoRa Atari Jaguar. Let's take a quick look. Nothing there. Nothing there. Let's see here. It would have been yesterday. I know these guys talked about it. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's been anything yet. So this might be the first time this has been recorded. At least publicly. And so we're going to do that here this morning. And I'm going to do that right after we cover most of the... Well, maybe we'll do it right now. Let's just do it right now. Let me jump over to the Let's Play, make sure we're set up there. It looks like we're not. There we go. There's the green screen of the skunk board. That's what we want to see. Okay, I think I have it already flashed. I was messing around with it yesterday afternoon. And I'm going to give a disclaimer. It's going to feel like the stream isn't working. The frame rate is that terrible. It's about one frame every few seconds. Open LoRa by Xprogger. Timur Gagiev, maybe. Atari Jaguar port by Swap D0. Version 0.1, 100% Motorola 68,000 code. So this isn't using the GPU at all. 8 bits RGB mode, so that's just our how many bits per color, and timing, or not bits per color, bits per pixel. Sorry, timing routines, just for tracking the timing. And I actually don't understand that too well. You'll see that at the top of the screen. Somebody will be able to make sense of it. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me what each value means. Anyways, just press B. There it is. This is Tomb Raider on the Jag, my friends. It's really slow, obviously, because it's just running on the, what's the Jag? 25 megahertz, 23 megahertz, Motorola 68,000. But if I press forward here, you'll see LoRa move forward. And if I hold down B, you'll see her jump. And I believe that's all she can do right now. Yesterday I was trying to get her to pull her guns out, and no luck there. But yeah, it is working. And the reason why I wanted to show this, I wanted to start so early, was because of how slow this was. It's pretty slow. But if I go over here, if I go diagonal a little bit, you'll see her. She should change her direction. Yep. There we go. Oh, too far. I'm going to run into a wall. Let's stop. And turn a little bit, see if we can run down this hallway. Oh, not far enough. A little bit more. So it's basically a slideshow right now. That's how people are referring to it. But for everybody that has wondered if Tomb Raider could run on the Jag, well, here's the answer to your question. It can. not well. And here's the thing. Again, it's basically running strictly on one CPU that wasn't designed to do stuff like this. And so, um, I'm exaggerating. I'm being a bit hyperbolic when I say that it's running on the Jag. It 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 is running, but it isn't playable. Um, but it shows that the engine can be ported, and with somebody, I personally believe that somebody with enough experience could get this running pretty well on the Jag if they wanted to. But it looks like we already have the spammers. See if I can get rid of those. I need a moderator. There we go. Okay, they're cleared off. Anyways, there you go. There's a Tomb Raider on the Jag. It actually looks, like, generally looks pretty good. You'll see the spears pop out here. Maybe. We may catch it. There we go. There's a frame with one. Shadows and everything. Isn't that awesome? I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but it looks cool. Man, I'm just getting spam this morning. Great. That will make this stream awesome, huh? Won't it? Okay. Yeah. Let's get to some more news. I'm gonna just let that sit on LoRa there. Let's go to, so yeah, the Open LoRa engine. You can download this. It's on this thread somewhere. I can't remember exactly which thread, which comment number it is, but it's definitely there somewhere. XChaos49, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you back. Let's see here. Let's go to my profile page to see what I've been tweeting about. Oh yeah, Atari Jaguar Dreams made this neat little piece of artwork based off of Another World. It's when he sees an alien or something. I like this checkered shirt. I think it's cool. Anyways, I thought I'd share that. It's art related. It's really cool. Yeah, we're going to get to that in just a moment. I can't remember the name of it, but we'll get to it. Yeah, and this is Open LoRa. And here is that new game that XChaos just talked about. So with Gravitic Minds completed, we haven't been sitting around partying all day. Here's a peek into what Reboot Games has been working on. Enjoy. Let's take a look at this. I don't think my desktop audio is working, but to tell you the truth, the audio isn't that impressive right now. But the gameplay is pretty cool. Let's see if I can make that just a little bit bigger. There we go. I don't know, are you guys getting that audio? Oh yeah, it looks like you're getting that audio. Turn it down a bit. So, it looks like we have a platformer that's set in kind of a cyberpunk dystopian world. At least that's what it looks like to me. I actually talked to Lawrence about this about a month or so ago. Or maybe a couple months ago. We were talking about some projects that we've been working on. And so it's cool to see them make such rapid progress. I think what they showed me didn't have like these platforms or the enemies, and so it's cool to see that. Ooh, he can drop bombs. That's cool. Or are they remote? They might be remotely detonated. That'd be cool. Anyways, this is looking awesome. It's cool to see what the Jag Studio or the Raptor engine can put together with Jag Studio, and I assume they're using Jag Studio for a lot of this. And yeah, it's really cool. Oh, something to note, and I don't think he mentions it here, but he's using that really fast protractor that I've talked about on previous streams, which means they're going to be able to do more visually because they have a better audio engine that doesn't take up as much bandwidth inside the Jag. So anyways, that's really cool. I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for Gravitic Minds. That's I'm finishing up some packaging things for Halbert on that, and so hopefully we'll get that into people's hands who have pre-ordered pretty soon. So I can't give you exact dates because that's up to Albert, but I think it's all right for me to inform people that things are moving along with that. So, and nothing but praise for what people are seeing there, and I have nothing but praise for it too. It's looking really cool. I think that may be it. Just some reminders. You can pre-order Asterite from Songbird Productions. This is a Phobos game, so this is the same developer that worked on Kings of Edom. And also, what is it? Spidey X and Space War 2000? Is that what it was called? I can't remember. Do you remember X Chaos 49? It was the space one that Phobos did. I can't remember. Just seeing, and again, you can pre-order the Dr. Typo collection on Atari Age. That's up for pre-order. This is just a collection of games, and everybody watching this probably already knows this. I'm just doing this for people who watch this stream later. But the Dr. Typo collection is just a collection of homebrew games that have been released over the last decade or so by Dr. Typo. This is some of the artwork that I produce for Gem Race. And these full-page pieces of art, so if you look at the box art, they aren't featured in their full glory here, but they are in the manual. So we managed to get all the artwork for each game in the manual. It started out, we were Wormhole 2000. Thank you, X Chaos. That was the other game made by Phobos. The original plan was to release these games separately as individual cartridges. But because of the size of the games and the relative simplicity to the games, it was decided that we needed to combine those. And by that time, I already had artwork created for a couple of the games, and so I just figured let's still treat them as their own thing in terms of the artwork, and then we'll figure out some sort of collage for the packaging. And thankfully, we were able to get the artwork in the manual as well. So that's awesome. I'm glad that we're gonna. As an artist, I'm glad that artwork is going to be featured by itself inside the manual because it was kind of designed for that. Whereas the packaging, I don't want to say was slapped together. I think it looks good. And yes, I'm bragging here a little bit. Sorry. I think it looks good, but I enjoy the individual artwork because that's what it was originally intended for. And then on the subject of Reboot. Don't forget to pre-order Gravitic Minds. It is an awesome game. Oh, I just realized OpenLora still has an arrow going across the screen. That's cool. What else? Did you know Alpine Games looks fantastic on a BenVen modded screen for the Atari Lynx? Oh man, that does look awesome. I don't think I have that game for my Lynx. I may need to get a copy of that from Songbird. I remember probably played a bootleg of it at some point. But yeah, the snowboarding thing, the tunneling in the snowboarding game is really impressive. Looks really cool on the Jag or on the Lynx. Voting is now open for the 4th annual. So the homebrew, I think this may be done already. I don't think we can vote anymore. Voting information. Oh, it might still be open. Let's see if we can find a date. Voting begins. Voting ends February 6th. Oh, it ended on Sunday, it looks like, so never mind. Anyways, I'm actually not too interested in award competitions like this, at least not right now. I may spend some more time on it in the future. But if you want to see who won those awards, I should have checked when they're going to announce award show February 12th. So that's this coming Saturday. And it looks like Zero Page is going to do a Twitch stream. And I believe he did a homebrew stream just last year, featuring a lot of homebrew that came out in 2021. Maybe it was 2020. I can't remember. Time flies. I need Last Strike for the Jaguar. That is a fun game too. I should spend some time streaming that one live. There's so many games coming out. It's hard to find time for them all. If I stream more often, I probably could, but I'm still thinking about streaming more often or not. But anyways, sorry to join in. I used to love my Jaguar 64. It's up in the loft now. Been up there since the 90s, along with the toilet CD add-on. Well, one thing about keeping it rather than getting rid of it is you have a chunk of gold up there now, even though it may look kind of like a toilet. That Jaguar CD, if it's still working, is worth quite a bit of money. I know it's at least worth $800. I've been seeing on eBay recently Jag and CD combos with no games, or maybe a few games, going for $1,500, $1,600 US. So, but I would suggest holding on to it because there's some awesome stuff. If you're interested in playing your games rather than just collecting, there's some really cool stuff coming out for the Jag. So, might be worth pulling out. And there's a lot of cool ways to hook it up to a modern TV. There's HDMI adapters that are coming down the line, and there's other ways of connecting HDMI if you're willing to spend a little extra money. But I would hold on to that Lynx too. I see those getting more expensive in the future as well. And there's great games coming out for that. The last game I played on my Lynx was another one by Songbird that came out last year, I believe, called Unnamed, and it's basically a top-down point-and-click adventure. It's a lot of fun though, very well put together. Puzzles are very difficult, and not unfair. They're not obtuse. They're fair. It's a fair challenge, and then it has once you beat it once, there's a new game plus, which changes some things up, and so there's some replayability to it. Oh no, it's when people call the Jag a toilet, I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's the obvious, and so it's hilarious. So yeah, it just looked like a toilet. Yeah, and I have a few Jag CDs, and they both, I think I have two. Yeah, I think I have two, and they're both working, thankfully. I need to do some maintenance. I do get a click from one of them, which I believe is an easy fix. I just need to spend some time with it and get it working. I think that's about it. Yeah. Oh, here's that HDMI. Oh, no. This is the Bluetooth adapter. I don't know if I've talked about this. This is something I'd be really interested in having as a Bluetooth adapter for the Jag. So you can play with a modern controller. The only issue is the D-pad, which I think he has something sorted out for that, a keyboard or something. But I have lots of Jag original games, but the CD add-on has very few games available here in the UK. Well, there weren't that many games to begin with. I think there were only 13 official games. There's a lot of homebrew that you can get on the CD unit, but a lot of recent homebrew is just going to cartridge because so few people have the CD unit, and so that CD unit's in an interesting space. And with the Jag GD coming out, allowing for at least the advent of running CD games on the Jag is happening. It's not quite 100% yet, but it's getting there. So, yeah, I would highly suggest holding on to your CD unit, or maybe you take advantage of our inflated retro gaming market and make a cool chunk of change. You can do that too. Yeah, I really enjoy ABP. I've actually never beaten any of the scenarios. The Marine was always a little too difficult for me. It's really just navigation. I think if I actually kept written notes while playing, I could probably beat it. The last time I was thinking about it, I had that idea, and so it might be a little bit easier to do that. To actually map it out on paper in front of me, because the interface doesn't do you any favors. Let's see here. Okay. But yeah, today what we're going to be doing is a little bit of programming. We're going to enter the matrix, the 64-bit matrix. And I know I mentioned on a previous stream that I was going to start working on screensavers for this test suite that I'm putting together in the removers library. let me show you what we have so far. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm just going to step through it because I don't know, I can't remember if XChaos was here when I was doing this last. And Gold Dalek Who, you've been here before too, so it's good to see you again. So I don't know if you saw this, just tell me if you've seen this already and maybe I'll skip it, but I can get through this really quick. So it's just a calibration tool. This one's just to set the display, position on the display. We have some color bars, and this is just for color calibration for LCDs or for CRTs, and I guess you could use it for LCDs too, but it's really for CRTs. A white screen, which according to the thread that the person posted, this is for testing potential power issues in the Jag. I don't completely understand it, but that's a full 8-bit white anyways. On the Jag. And then we have a sound balance test. In fact, I'm going to do a check here really quick, make sure you guys can hear this. Yeah, turn that up. And this is for your audio balance. So you can go left, right, and then center. And I have some keyboard shortcuts that throw the balance in any direction or center it. So, and I just found a sample on OpenGameArt that was public domain to use for that. But the oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. I do have, if you hit the pause button, it does stop the music. I don't know if that's useful, but I figured I'd add it. There's also the controller test, which can test up to 8 controllers, and I have a stream where we cover that, where I'm programming that, putting that together. So if you're interested in seeing that working with actual Jaguar team taps, watch that stream. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. That I streamed that. So anyways, so yeah, there's the Jaguar test, and I need a better way of getting out of that. There we go. And then the screensavers, we have the 64-bit pill. It's going to run a little bit slow right now because I think I have the drops. So the drops, each of the code drops, I can tell it as many drops as I want, and I think it's a little high right now, and so it slows things down. But it handles it pretty well. And today I'm hoping to polish this up a little bit so it runs a little bit faster and it looks a little bit better. If you see, and it's kind of a cool effect. I personally don't like it. I've had a few people mention here where I live that the flicker that happens near the end of the string actually looks kind of cool. It's kind of a glitchy effect. And what's happening, and let me see if I can explain this really quick. Can you see my cursor? Yes, you can see my cursor. So this is just divided up into boxes, and then the removers library, what it does is there's a map of characters that selects one of those characters randomly and then paints it into those boxes. And then according to a number, it paints either the white at the head of the drop and then 3 or 4 values of green following behind it. And so yeah, it's pretty simple. The way I programmed it doesn't take into account that there may actually be something painted there already, and that's why we get this flickering. It's 2 drops overlapping on one another. And so we are wasting, first of all, we're wasting speed, we're wasting cycles by drawing to the same place twice. And so what we're going to do is kind of change how, first of all, how we're painting in the abstract, so in the background. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to create another array where before it paints anything to the screen buffer, we're going to paint this array, and it's going to do it from the bottom right to the top left. The reason why is because I want drops that are coming down to override things that are further below. So basically it's a sorting algorithm that we're going to be doing. And what it will do is it will create an array of numbers that represent the drops, and then we'll just pass that array to our paint routine, and it will just paint it all at once. And I think that's going to speed it up, and it will definitely get rid of this glitch look when 2 drops overlap. But Matt Smith, good to see you. Can the JagPad test handle the Pro controllers? I know the extra buttons are just number pad shortcuts. Yes, and natively it'll support it. They won't show up. So if we go back out here, hopefully things won't crash. I think I got everything pretty stable. They won't show up as red buttons, obviously, up at the top, but they'll show up as what are they? 4, 4, 6, and 7 or something on the number pad. Maybe in the future I'll add some dots, some 3 dots for Pro controllers. The issue is I don't think there's any way to detect a Pro controller, because there may be. I need to do some research, but I don't think that there is. In the Jaguar SDK, while I was reading, there are ways to detect special controllers if they have, for example, analog input, like an analog stick. And they had that specifically for the Jag VR. That was the actual real world use case for it. And I'm sure there's other use cases for it, but that's the only one that was ever actually realized in some form. I believe that's the case. So, but anyways, so natively it does support Pro controller, but there's really no difference between a Pro controller and a standard controller outside of they've added a few wires to go up to those extra 5 buttons, so the shoulder buttons and the 3 buttons on the front. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because it'd be cool if I could detect that and actually change how it visually looks if a Pro controller is plugged in. So anyways, yeah, let's get started. Go ahead and chat with me. We may not get through this today. I've been away from the code for about 2 weeks now, if I remember right, and so I'm going to have to relearn how I did things before we can dig into changing things. And so there will be time to chat. I'm just glad I organized this in a way, hopefully I organized this in a way that's easy to remember. So here I'm just setting the green colors. Oh, that's something, if we get through everything today on optimizing this, tomorrow what I want to do is I'm going to do another programming stream. It may be a split stream. It may be programming and then a little bit of gameplay, where we do a color selector so you can change the color of the matrix. So maybe I should be doing that today, but I wanted to do this optimization in case that breaks that would break that. And so we're going to do the optimization first, and then we'll do the fun stuff later. This is fun too. I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. So here we load our font maps, and it looks like, so I just have a font map, and it's just a horizontal image of all the characters, and they're just black and white. And for each shade, I load that map, and so there's 4 or 5. How many shades of color? It looks like I have a define here. Shades of color. There you are. So I have 5 shades going on right now. One is just the white, and then several shades of green. And so when we do the color change, what we'll have to do, oh no, we don't have to repaint these. We're just changing a color lookup table. That's the advantage of using a lower bit depth, is it's looking at a table of colors, and so that's how you do the cool palette shifts in games and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, so we create a bunch of screens, load those, and then we change the bytes in those maps so they look at these. Depending on the map, they look at a specific ID in the color lookup table. So that's what's happening down here. We load the matrix screen, so this is just the whole, this is what we actually see on the screen. That's what this is. Array setup, matrix character array. So this is the array. Let's see here, how big is our array? So I can use that array, and I can actually change the size of this. I think I tried changing the size of it. There's something that is broken currently, so we can't do it without it breaking or crashing. I want to go through and make this so you can make it different sizes. I don't know if we'll use that, but I kind of want to. I like making the code flexible that way. So 40 by 30, which is 1200. So there's 1200 boxes in that array, and when we initialize it, I randomly pick out of 128 characters what's in that, and so that's pre-populated, and later we randomly switch those to kind of give it that matrix effect, and we'll see that again here when we do another build. The drops setup, so the drops are just structure, and we can go take a look at that. I don't think it's anything complicated. Yeah, so just a position, so an XY position, a length, how slow it is. So this move delay, we just have a counter, so the larger that counter is, the slower the drop moves, because it won't shift it down until that counter hits 0. And then these are just 2 variables. One's how slow it is, and one counts. That's all that is. So pretty simple. yeah, and that's it. And down here, we're just changing the characters randomly in our character array up here. So it isn't the same thing all the time. Something I would like to do, maybe we'll do this tomorrow with the color change, is I would like it to every once in a while print a message in the center of the screen. Maybe it clears out 3 rows, and in the center row it says, "Follow the black Jaguar," instead of follow the white rabbit. Maybe we'll do something fun like that. Let's see here. Leave trail. Oh. So I have a variable here. Oh, and I can turn it on and off. I set it up. Let's take a look at that. This is kind of cool. In fact, let me turn the drops down. So right now we have 64 drops going. Let's just do like 12. No. Let's do this right. Let's keep it at 16. Because we like our Atari STs, right? 16 bits. I'm being funny. That it really doesn't mean anything. I could put any number there. Anyways. So there they are. So we have 16 drops going down, and if I hit 1, they'll leave a trail, which is kind of like a burned-in LCD effect. I think that's so awesome. And then if you hit 1 again, it should start clearing them up. Yep. So I kept that in there, and we may add, that may just be an option with the color selector if you want the trails or not, or maybe you can set it to be random as well. That'd be awesome as well. But let me know if you have any other suggestions for this, or for screensavers. I'm planning on doing a few screensavers. I can't do anything 3D or fancy. I just don't have the skill level for that yet. But any 2D screensavers you might remember, like I was thinking of, it's a classic Windows screensaver with the polygon lines bouncing around. I think I could do that. I'm pretty sure I could do that here on the Jag. I don't know how fast it would be, but I'm pretty sure I could do something similar to that. There's some line drawing functions in the removers library that would make that really easy to do in code. I just don't know how fast it would be. We could do at least one line or one polygon. We may not be able to do the cool trail that it does, but we could definitely do one polygon. Yeah. Okay, so what I was saying, what I want to do is I want to create a new array that we update the values in, and then according to that array we paint. Because right now what we're doing is we do have an array. Let's see if I can find our painting routine. Matrix drop. So here's our position. Oh, that's the init. Update matrix. So in our update matrix function, we go through all the drops, and then through all drops that have reached 0 on their delay. For trail position equals 0. And then what we're doing is we're just going through each drop, and then according to its position, we're painting back from the head to the back, or to the end of the tail, to whatever the length is for that drop. Selected block, and then we just go through each of those blocks, and then we paint either a white one, a full green, a 75% green, 50% green, or 25% green. And this is all going to change here. This is all we're going to be drawing abstractly in the background to an array, and those will just be numbers, and then all the painting routines, which are done here, like for example right here, are going to be moved to a single function that just goes through that whole array and paints it. Man, I hope this is faster. Should be faster. So, drop position, and this is, I believe this is just making sure it doesn't draw outside of our screen. Erase tail, and then we have a function that so there's this weird thing, and I'm not sure why I was doing this. I really need to understand this logically, but it reaches the bottom of the screen and it leaves the last character, and so I have a little bit of code here that just cleans that up once it's done. So what we're gonna do, let me think about this. We need to keep this for loop kind of want to draw only if the block is within the boundaries of the matrix screen. Yeah, so select a box. Yeah, this is actually where it's capping things, making sure that we're painting in the screen. So, oh, there's some more spam. Yeah, so let's do this. Oh, I got 3 variables here. Drop head array position. It's matrix columns times by the Y position. Is that right? Columns. Yes, that is right. Times by Y, because that gives us our Y position in the grid, and then plus, and this gives us our X offset in the grid. So that's okay. This is cool. I think I'm going to be able to keep a lot of this because this is just where our position is in the array. Trail reverse lookup, and then times by trail position. I am not sure what this variable is. Select a block. Drop head. Oh, this is just, so we have our length variable for each drop, and what it does is it goes from the head and it just goes up until it hits the end of that trail, and this just gives us, this is just pre-calculating that position, so we can just use one variable to do that. So, but, okay. I'm getting hit by a ton of spam today, and I don't know why. Okay, so selected block, and this is just capping it inside. Yeah, so I'm going to be able to use this. What I need to do, oh, and it looks like I do have a state array. I may already have this set up. I think the only thing I'm going to need to change is the sorting, how we sort it. So making sure that we paint the state array from the bottom right corner to the top left. This may go a lot faster. Nah, it never does. This stuff always takes time. So I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm going to be real about this. Let's see our drop position. Matrix screen. Okay, that just sets that. So this is going to be set later. I'm going to comment that out. Position, so we want to keep these in, and then these are all going to be moved out. In fact, I'm just going to get what I'm going to do, move the drop, erase tail. Yeah, it's just going to be outside of this whole thing, I'm pretty sure. Oh, let's figure out where that is. So we're going to be adding a section down here called paint, state, paint according to state array, like that. And all of our painting routines are going to be outside. And it's just going to be running another for loop when we get to that point. Gosh, is there any way? Interesting. So let's move just one of these out, just for history's sake, and just put it here. And I'm just going to comment it out. And I'm going to erase the rest of these. Like that. Like that. And we're going to have to move this little bit of code that erases that last paint at the bottom of the screen later. Okay, so this is filling our state array. We need to tell it selected block. Oh, how are we going to do this? I almost need a sorting algorithm. I wish I didn't have to do that, though. We need to go through all the drops first and create an array. So we're going to create int sorted drops, And this needs to be the size of how many drops we have. And so this is going to be flexible. Drops total. Like that. And we're going to do sort drops. We're going to run another for loop before this. This is why I'm questioning if this is going to be faster or not, because if we're adding more for loops, that actually slows things down, but it also depends on what it's doing. So we'll find out. Drops total. There we go. I plus plus. Just doing a simple loop here. Oh, actually, no. Yes, this is right. You know what we could do? We could just do columns. Nope, that won't work either. No, because there can be 2 drops in one column. That doesn't work. Yeah, we have to go through the amount of drops. I might need to do a little bit of research on a sorting algorithm. Something simple. Maybe we'll do a little bit of research here. I know I've done sorting before. You need to just give it some criteria. So what we're looking for, oh, that's how we could do it, is we could do, because it's 2-dimensional, right? The position of the drop has an X dimension and a Y dimension, and we can run 2 more loops here that searches for the highest X dimension. That's how we do it. Or sorry, Y dimension. So we want to find the drops that are furthest down. And honestly, the X dimension doesn't matter because they don't shift on the X as they drop down. And so it's just, we need to make sure that if there's a drop lower than another drop in the same column, that the one lower gets painted over by the one that's higher. Yeah. So we really just need to scan our rows, because we're sorting on the Y, and just say, is there anything on this row? Is there anything on this row? And that's how we populate our sorted drops. So I'm going to create another variable we can use here called Y for another for loop, because we're going to go through, oh wait, do we need to? So if think about this. We go through each column, or each row. Yeah, we just need to do another I equals, and we need to start it at the top, or the bottom of the array. So where's our columns? Matrix columns right there. Equals matrix columns. Do we have to do a -1 on this? I think we do. -1. And this is Y, not I. I gotta be careful with that. Matrix columns -1. And as long as Y is greater than 0, and we go, so we're going from the bottom of the array, so the max Y position, all the way to 0. We're going up. Y plus plus. Okay, and then this needs to be a for loop, not an if statement. If, and then we test each drop. If, where are our drops? Yeah, drop, position, Y. Oh, there's got to be a simpler way to do this. I know of a way to do this, but it's a lot of code. because what I can do is just test for each column. But that's going to be clumsy or messy code. There's got to be an easier way to do this. Drops total. I need to find... I don't want to do any comparisons between drops either. Well, I kind of have to. Huh. This is tricky. I should have thought about this a bit more. Position... Oh no, this is position 1. Oh! Equals Y. I think this will do it. So if the Y position just equals the current, so we're going from the biggest, we're automatically sorting by counting from the biggest column or row number to 0. That's how we're doing the sorting. And we're just checking each drop. Oh, I gotta reverse this. Ooh, no, this is really slow. This won't work. Yeah, because I'm going through each drop already in this for loop, and then we're testing its position. Oh, man. Because the way we would have to sort it is we'd have to go through each drop, each frame, to make sure they're sorted in the right position. What we can do is we can only do it when their move delay counter hits 0. Oh, there's got to be a better way to do this. The other way I could approach this is when I spawn a drop, so right at the beginning of the program, I'm sorting it depending on where it places its... So when it spawns a drop at the very beginning, it picks a point off screen above the screen, vertically, randomly, and horizontally, but all we care about is the vertical for this sorting. And so what we can do is when the ones closest to the screen are added to that list first. Cheers. Dataset user, good to see you. Yep, we got some coding today. I don't know how exciting it's going to be, but I've already ran into an unexpected roadblock. I hadn't thought this through. And it has to do with sorting. Question is can I do that? Well, and here's the other issue, is some drops move down faster than others, and so that's the problem with that approach, is because when it overcomes another drop, I need to resort the entire list. I may not be able to do this now that I'm thinking about it. Not without slowing things down considerably. And here's the thing, it may not slow it down enough to be noticeable. So my primary goal is to get rid of that flicker. And now I'm debating whether it's worth it. Because I mean, it looks fine the way it is. Kind of has a cool glitching effect, which is awesome too, and it doesn't hurt anything. Like in the background of the program, it isn't going to make anything crash. Let me think. If we did sorting, yeah, we can't do that. Oh, that's another way we could do it. So what I could do is I could create a rule that says that no more than 3 drops can be on the same column. If I create that rule, I would have to add a check that each time it respawns the drop, that it checks that column to make sure that there isn't more than 3, and if there is, it just shifts it to another column and does the check again. And do that. And then what I can do is sort per column. Oh. Let's see here. No, that doesn't work, does it? Yeah, if I go to the columns, because the only thing I'm worried about is another drop overrunning another drop. So I just need to detect if that happens. Man, I may not even need this sorting routine now that I think about it. No, I do need to sort. I need something to paint our background array. So if I have a column, let's see here. I may be stumped on this. We may be doing the funner stuff today. I may need to think about this a little bit more. I almost want to just go through this, even though I know it's not going to be ideal. See if it might help me work out another way of sorting this. Because the issue is 2 or more drops on the same column. I'm just wondering if there's a way I can actually scan the columns rather than the rows and sort that way. And so I'm painting on our state array, I'm actually painting columns rather than going through the array like this or backwards that way, which I can do. With a couple for loops, I can do that. That would still require scanning all of our drops to find out which ones are in which columns. That's the issue. Unless I create another array that tracks where the column position, or I could put this in, I already have that data. It's in the drop. It's in the drop structure. So if I already have that data in the drop structure, that Y position, I feel like I need another array to tell me, yeah, we need another array. In fact, I'm going to put this here before I forget. Where am I doing these matrix ring code? Matrix drop, update matrix ring code. I'm just wondering if I'm making these arrays global or not. Matrix drop total. Where's the state? State array. Where is that being declared? It's got to be near the top. Where are you? Huh. I must be declaring it globally. Search. Yeah, there it is. There you are. So we need a sorted array. Matrix sorted array. And this array needs to, from 0 to 1, Yeah, that's the problem is I have to check. This is the issue. I have to check. I have to go through all the drops every frame to make sure that one doesn't overlap the other. But I don't know. Can I do it with columns though? Can I just check the columns? Because the columns are always going to be 40. Well, unless I change them later, but it's going to be 40 because that's all you can see on screen. It's going to be 40. This needs to be drops. Total. Because if I can keep a global list of where things, a global list of the order in which to draw the drops on our state array, and I only update that either when the drop moves or when the drop overcomes. Oh, that's another way to do it. Yeah, so the other way we could do this is we create a two-dimensional array that is 40 for each column, and we can only have 3 drops in each column. And then I have to do a check when I spawn a drop to make sure that there isn't more than 3 drops per column. And then what we can do, does this speed anything up though? We can do a check each frame and see if the Y position for each one of those drops has changed. This does cap how many drops we can have. It's 3 times matrix column, so we can't have more than 120 in this case, 120 drops. Max is matrix columns times drops per column. That's with an N. There we go. And that, where do we put that? And we put that up here. Define drops per column 3. And then change this to drops per column. Matrix sorted array. Yeah. So we got to just make sure that doesn't go beyond that. And we're fine with 16 right now. In fact, maybe we'll bump this up to like 110. It'll run slow, but we'll be able to easily see if our code's working or not. Yeah, and so we can... Oh, in fact... actually, this might be the way to do it, because when we do the check, when we update this matrix sorted array, when a drop moves, all we're doing is checking that one column. We don't have to check any of the other columns for that frame, because that's the drop. Well, unless a drop moves on the same frame, but in this case, just the one drop. And then we can tell it, okay, you need to scan that column vertically to see if there's another drop, first of all, and if there's another drop, is it now greater? And if that's the case, we need to resort that. Yeah, so we'll actually be drawing, here at the end of the day, we'll be drawing the columns. Well, not necessarily. We'll be sorting according to column inside of each column, but then we'll be painting the state array as we normally would from the bottom, or not as backwards from what we normally would, bottom right to top left. Yeah, because it's all columns at the end of the day. Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll look at this matrix sorted array at each column, and we'll just start at column 0, and then what it will do is it'll find the ID. Oh, So this actually needs to be plus, think about it, Will. Matrix columns, drops per, oh yeah. So this is just going to be an ID. So there will be three values in here. And it'll just be drop ID. And all that ID number is it's just, so we have 110. These drops automatically have an ID because we can count them from 0 to 109 in this case, 110 values. And so it'll be drop ID, drop ID, drop ID, like that. And this determines the sorting of that column. So whatever's first gets painted first, and then it goes up. It paints those. Okay, I think we got this. My head is starting to wrap around it. So I think we can get this figured out. So we're already scanning every drop here. So we don't need to, or right here. So we don't need to replace that. And we only want to update this when it moves. So the first frame is going to take a little bit of time because I'm actually not going to do this when it inits. Or I guess I could. One issue we're going to have is 0 because there's going to be one drop that has 0, and so we can't. So what we could do is when we initialize this array, so our matrix sorted array, let's go ahead and initialize that somewhere. Let's see here. This is our menu right here. Load matrix screen. That's fine. Drop setup. So here, when we initialize it, we actually, because it's just an integer array, we can initialize each value to -1, and that's how we know that there isn't a drop there. Or isn't there, yeah, there's, it hasn't, we're not tracking an ID of an active drop. Init for I equals 0, as long as I does not equal max, what was it? Columns. I can't remember now. Here, I can put that there. Column, matrix columns, right? By drops per column equals matrix columns I plus, and this is a 2-dimensional array, and so we have to do 2 for loops to cover each dimension. I equals 0, like I does not equal drops per column. I should probably put max at the end of that, but plus, we go through each one of those. And maybe we'll make a function that allows us to scan through this array so we don't have to write those 2 for loops every time. I'm going to condense this. Sorted array I equals -1. Okay, so now that's initialized. There's probably a better way to do that in C code, to tell you the truth, with a malloc or something. But I'm not, this is just the initialization, so I'm not worried about it taking up time here. Drops per column is just making sure I got that right. Drops per column, yep. Make sure I have 2 variables to work with for my for loop. Okay, so now that's initialized to -1. Then on this init matrix drop, let's go take a look at that right here. So this is when we initialize our X position here. And we need to tell it, we have to do a while loop first of all, because we have to keep looking through until we find a column that we can put it into. So what we'll do is we'll generate a random position, and then we'll check if, we have to count. And then we have to, yes. So we need to check. We need to do a for loop. For I equals 0 and I equal drops per column. We need to check those 3 values to see if they've been taken up yet in our sorting array. I plus plus. And then, so matrix sorted array, and our X position, our column position, is already determined by our random number here. So we just pull this. Oh yeah, and this is going to be an if statement. If, and then we just start from the first value. Yeah, the first value, which is going to be 0 when it starts this for loop. So we'll go 0, 1, and 2 for those 3 values. Equals, and if it is -1, then we will write. Oh, we don't know. We don't know the ID inside of here. We can pass it through though. So right here, drops total, drop I. We can go I here to our init matrix drop. This is int I. This gives us our ID. I just need to update the matrix drop, our declaration for that function. And now we have the ID that we're going to be painting to, or keeping track of there. I'm doubting myself if this is the right way to do it, but we're going to do this to see if it works. I could be in a lot of trouble here. We'll find out. So we paint the ID, and then we can break out of the loop. Oh, I'm in 2 loops. Oh, I can do another check outside. I can just copy this if statement and have it do another check. Oh, there's got to be a way to do this. While no, this is the way to do it. So we just check that same. Oh no, how do we do that? What we could do, this might be the easiest way to do it actually, even though it's a little obtuse. I don't like doing this. We can add just a variable in here called is sorted, and this will be set to 0 initially. D is sorted equals 0, and then here, once we actually sort it to a position, we can say it is now sorted equals 1, and then up here we can go D is as long as sorted is equal to 0. And then what it will do is, as soon as it, in fact, I can get rid of this break statement. Or no, we do need this to get out of the for loop. I don't know if it automatically breaks out as soon as I set that to 1. I don't think I've ever done this in C before. So it should work. Might need to test this later to see if it works. Okay. So this should find us, as long as our maximum number of drops, what should eventually put us in, it should eventually find a place it can be sorted into. So that should be fine. Yeah, and it's going to do that for every drop. Let's check really quick. See what errors we have, because I know I've been writing a bunch of stuff. Has no member, did I, oh, I didn't save that. There we go. 360, probably messed up something here. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Don't need you. Okay, it built. Clear, make clean, and then make. Just wanted to make sure there aren't any warnings, because sometimes those can be just as bad as errors. Function, yeah, unused variables I'm not too worried about. And these, I don't know why, but sometimes it gives me that these variables, they do get initialized, and I don't know why it gives me this, that they may be uninitialized. You better go check that. Doesn't seem to affect anything, so I'm not too worried about that right now. Okay, so we have what we did here is when these are first initialized, when we're assigning an X position, so a column for the drop to drop down in, we are also oh, this still isn't, darn it, this still isn't sorting anything, because it's not sorting it according to the Y position. I need to run through I need to create a function that goes through the column and sorts it. So I need a function that what it does is it goes through each column, checks each drop's Y position in that column, and then sorts the column appropriately. Yeah, I should have done some more research before I decided to do this, because I do not know if I know enough about sorting in order to do this. Let's give it a try anyways. Sort column. Sort matrix column. Like that. So what we need to do is go through the 3 values for each drop in each column, check their Y positions, and whichever one is greater goes into the first one, and so on and so forth. We are going to do a for loop for 0, I does not equal drops per column, I plus plus. Okay, got that. Matrix sorted array. It's actually going to be 2 variables. Because we need to go through each column. Matrix columns. I. Okay. Matrix columns. Okay. And then take this, and we're going through all the columns and for each number in that column. And this is going to be an if statement. I'm just writing this out so I can copy and paste it. So we need 3 variables, and we're going to call them A, B, and C for each position. in our sorting array, we have those three IDs, and the first will be A, second B, third C. And those are all equal to -1. Oh man, I may need to do some research because I know there's some simple algorithms for scanning. Let's try this. This is what my gut's telling me. Is first we do a check. Yeah, if it's greater than 0, because remember we're initializing everything to -1, and if there isn't a drop there, it's going to be -1. So if it's -1, or if it's greater than 0, we do something else. We break out of this column like that. We jump back out and continue on to the next column to check it, because we're filling them from 0 to 3, and so if we hit a -1, we know that there's no more drops that have been assigned to that column, so we can just leave. But if it is greater, oh, it seems like this is actually I can do. Oh, I may only need to do. Oh, I may not need this other for loop. I don't think I need this other for loop because we're only dealing with 3 values. I can do that per column. I can just check. The first thing I can do is check the first value. If it's greater than 0, if it's not greater than 0, we can just skip the column. Yeah, that's fine. Actually, no. It's the second one I need to check. Because if there's no more than one value in that column, no more than one drop in that column, we can just skip this whole thing. We're done. We can, and we can't use this break because we need to go through each column still. Else, just keep going. Yeah. Because if there's only one, let me think. No, I think we're going to keep this 0. And then here we'll check. So what we'll do is we'll assign oh yeah, this is, so A equals, we assign the ID value to A. We'll be sorting these later. And then we can do the same check here. Oh, no. Yeah, there's only 3 values here that I need to compare. I'm going to go do some research here really quick. Let me jump over to that. Let's do a simple search. How to sort 3 numbers in C. If A is greater than C, swap O. Just swapping A and C. If A is greater than B, swap A and B. Now the smallest element is the first one. Is that what we want? just check the second and third. If B, oh, so we're finding the smallest one, right? And then we do one last comparison on the last. Let's see if I can figure that out. Oh, maybe I just need to do, because I'm assigning those, yeah, if they're -1, I don't need to do the comparison, right? Matrix sorted array 0 is greater than 0. A equals, okay, so we're assigning that first value. Oh, no. Oh, darn it, this doesn't work. I have to, we can't assign those until we know which ones are further down on the column. Else next column, and then is greater than 0, so we make sure that there's something else in this column to check. If not, we'll just continue on. And at this point, if there's at least 2 values, well, they call this a drop through. It's just going to drop through. If there are 2 values, we actually need to do one more check for that third value. So we check the third value, and then we'll do an extra bit of something there. But if it is just 2 values, we need to do, okay, yeah. So this is our ID now. Ah, man, this was a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. A ID equals that's correct, because then we'll be doing comparison with the actual drops here soon. AID, BID, 1, and then CID is inside here if we have it. CID equals 2. Because we don't want to do anything unless there's at least 2. So that makes sense there. Okay, well, we have those assigned now. And we can do our comparison. ID, B, ID, and C. CID equal -1. And I want the largest number to be first. So let me see if I can figure out the logic here before I write out all the code. if AID is greater than if AID, and I gotta do this, position, just so I don't forget, position Y, because we're checking the Y position, is greater than BID, there we go, position, the Y position, oh sorry, you guys can't see the code. Need to remember to do that switching. Is less than BID then A equals, and A equals, oh, come on. A equals, still my head isn't wrapping around the logic here. I'm going to need a second set of variables here. That's why I have this separate AID. I'm just trying to figure out what I need to assign here now that I know. Oh no, I do have them up here, so we're fine. In fact, this needs to be bumped down here because this has to be reset each time for each column. The AID can't change. Those have to be consistent. So now that we know, let's say A is less than, we need to make sure that A equals BID. Pretty sure that's what we're looking for. Because once we know the order, we have to just write back to this matrix sorted array the IDs to position 0, 1, 0 to position 0, 1, and 2 for the 3 values. BID and B equals AID. Like that. Yes. Oh, okay. I think I understand this now. And then we check against C, or the third value. So first we need to check if CID does not equal, because we don't want to do this step if we don't have to. Does not equal -1, because we assigned it -1 here to begin with, and so if it's still -1, if it wasn't set here, we just want to skip this. And AID is less than. I understand. We're sorting this direction. I understand what's visually. I understand what's going on in my head now. position is less than CID position. I'm worried about writing this code because I'm afraid I'm going to forget how it works later on. And then I'll end up just rewriting it again. But that's okay. I think I can figure out the logic in the future. So, and if it is, B equals CID. And A or C equals A ID. So A ID is sorted because now it's at the end. And now we need to check A and B again. So we just do one last check here. If, and we can actually use A and B to do this. So if A position, I guess I should just put those in. We'll do that here in a second. Is if it's less than B position, then A equals CID, because we assigned CID to B before here, and B is equal to BID because before it was assigned to A. So yeah, there we go. And I'm actually going to flesh out this code now so we aren't relying on all this. That's easy. We go yeah, drops. Is it drop or drops? I can't remember. It is drop. Drop AID like that. Make sure I hit all these. Just making sure I'm doing this right. There we go. And then we can use that. Yeah, I think we got it. I think that sorts it. So if position A is less than position B, then we sort A down, yep, to B. A down to B, like that. And then if we do have a C value, oh, this needs to stay like this. Yep. Because if it's still -1, we don't need to check it. Then we check the Y positions in that column and we sort it down. One more time, we shift, if it is less, then we shift it down. Oh no. We've already said, yeah, this is fine. This works. Because if it's not less than, it's going to stay in that position. A is in the right place. C is in the right place. Yep. Oh, do we actually assign C though? I don't think we do. It only gets assigned if that's the case. If it doesn't, so I just need an else statement here that just assigns C if C isn't, let's see here, if A isn't less than C, then Oh, am I doing this wrong? Yes. Or no. It swaps it. That's correct. Come on. I can do this. If A's Y position is less than C, let's see. Yeah, it gets shifted down. But if it's greater than, then C just equals CID. That's right, CID. And then we just run another little for loop here. Right. Once we get outside, oh. No, this doesn't work. It has to be done. No, it has to be done outside, but we do need to do an else if. Else. Come on. Else. What is it doing? Else if. Thank you. That just says else if. We just need to do this down here because we only want to run it if there is actually a value in there. If there isn't a value in there, we can just leave it as -1. And then we just need to run a for loop outside. Right here. Yeah, right here. And I still have my extra for loop variable equals 0 equals 0, and as long as I does not equal drops per column I plus plus, and then we go through this is I. Oh no, I can't do this. I just need to assign them. There's only 3 values, so we can write that out. It's not that big of a deal. 0 equals A, because we've assigned these IDs before, right? So our if statements, we assigned these, and then we sorted them into these, and now we're sending them back to that sorted array. That's what we're doing. So we just need to do this 3 times for A, B, and C, 0, 1, and 2. And there's our 3 values there. Okay, I think this is working. Can we test it? Is our program in a broken state right now? It might be in a broken state right now. Or should I trust my logic that it's all square, that it's all working? I guess I could look through this one more time. So we only do this sorting algorithm if there's a value, if we have a drop assigned to this column. And then, oh. It does a random. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good up there. Okay, and then it checks, okay, we do have something there, so we can continue, but we still only need to sort if, in fact, I could get rid of this, I'm pretty sure. What we could do is combine these up to here, like that. So if value 1 and 2, or the first 2 if the first 2 numbers in our sorting arrays actually have IDs for drops, because if they don't, there's no sense in sorting because there's only one drop in the column. So yeah. we can get rid of you. Like that. There. Okay. And then we need to do a special check for the third one, just if there's something there, and then we assign that, and then we go ahead and assign the other two. In fact, we can bump these up to here. There's nothing special about those, the order of those, but except for assigning A, B, C in order. That's the only reason I shifted that around. And then if we have that, we sort A and B because we know for sure we have those. And then if we have C, we do our final sort between those and then our last comparison between, okay, yeah, I think we got this. Pretty sure we do. Yeah, we check those positions. It's less than we swap them. If not, then C just remains C. If this isn't true, I think we're good. I think we got that, and that's sorted. And we need to run this. Well, I got to declare it first. We've defined it, but haven't declared it yet. Here. And because we're not pulling in any variables, and so I'm going to run that after we, where are you? Right. Load array setup. Right here. We'll just run it here. There we go. Got him. V. There we go. It's Control V, not Control B. There's sort matrix columns. Okay, so that sorting happens there, and we'll probably, that's sorting all the columns. We may need another function that sorts just the column of the drop that is moved. I'm wondering if we can alter this to do that for us. And what we do is we pass an ID in. In fact, yeah, we could do that because we're only going to do that loop here once at the very beginning. And from here on out, we're only going to be checking a column of a drop that changes, that moves down. And so, yeah, I got to move this for loop out of here. We can do that. So we're going to make this singular, and we're going to do column ID to sort, like that. And then anywhere where there's an I, that just gets swapped out like this. It's funny because usually I'm trying to think of a way to put a for loop inside of my function, and in this case I'm actually taking it out, so, which I guess is a good thing. I don't know, we'll find out. I may regret this. And I'm going to get rid of this I, and we're going to use I again, but it's going to be, oh no, I don't need any of those actually. Don't need any of those, that's it. That actually simplified that function a little bit more. This just sorts an individual column in our matrix. It sorts the drops, the draw order of the drops in that column. That's what this does. I'm just reassuring myself that I'm doing this, that I'm doing something useful. And here, this is where we put the for loop, here at the very beginning, and then we'll run this again as the program runs, but only when a drop has moved. That should save as many cycles as possible. Matrix columns. As long as I does not equal matrix columns, I++. We'll do a sort for all those here. like that, like that. Let's run a command really quick, see where our errors are. 386. I forgot a semicolon. Looks like everything built. Let's see if there's any warnings. No, we're fine there. Fine there. I think we're good. I wonder if it doesn't like the syntax that I'm using, because I'm assigning A and B here, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can assign stuff like this. Yeah, I can, because it isn't complaining about this. It's weird that it's missing that. This must be a bug. It's the only thing I can figure. Okay. Now we can sort our columns, which is important. And while we're thinking about it, when we move up, when we update our matrix, and when it drops, we need, when it actually drops, so right here, we need to resort column. And all we do is we pass in the column number, and we get that from the drop that we're moving down. So sort matrix column, and it's just our drop that we're currently looking at, and its Y position, or its X position, which is that, because our X is our column, right, is our selected column, just like that. And then it will go into that and see, okay, we moved this down, and so let's look at our sorting array and see if it's still the first or the second or the third thing to be drawn, and resort any other drops that are in there. I hope that works. Okay, trail position. And then this is painting our state array, which is what we want to do. Okay, so now that everything's sorted in our column, think about this. So what I can do here is, now that we have our array here of our draw order for a given column, we have to change something. We need to paint by columns now. We can't just go through all the drops. Well, we are going through all the drops, but we're going to be doing it using this sort matrix column array that we have now. Or sorry, that's not what it's called. I got to keep this straight. The matrix sorted array. We have to paint it according to that now. And originally I thought we were going to paint it going from the bottom up in that column, but now I'm thinking we should paint it from the top down. That way, ooh, how do we do that though? That's tricky. Oh no, we go from the furthest one up, and there's the head, paints back. Then we go to the next one, which is going to be down at least one more, right? They could be overlapping. But what we do is we go down to the next one, and then we start painting back. But each block we paint back on, we have it checked to say, is this already set? Oh no, yeah, is it already set? And so basically we need to assume that that column is all zeros. So it hasn't been painted at all yet. And we're going to be repainting that whole column. Is this saving us time? Is the question. I think it is. I think it's going to save us time. The reason why is it's not going to be painting the same block more than once. It's just not happening anymore. Is it worth it? I don't know until we do this. Really, that's what it's coming down to. So we need to change our for loop here. Because now, this changes it from we're only updating a drop when it moves to we are updating it regardless of if it moves or not. Well, no, not necessarily. We can keep this. We can tell it, hey, don't worry about painting it unless it moves, repainting it. But we are, because we're assuming the whole column is 0. Tricky. So let's assume we don't set that column to 0 again before we repaint it. Let's say we keep it all. One drop moves, another drop doesn't. Oh, I think I just figured out a simpler way to do this. We don't set the column to 0. And we do a check as it's painting up the drop. If it hits a drop that's ahead, which is this white, that's equal to 1, it just stops. Yeah, I think that's how we do it. And so the first one always gets painted because it's on top. It's always there. It's always going to be painted. And then the second and third one, they stop painting if they reach their length, the end length, or they hit 1 in the state array. I think that's how we do it. And that way, we're only painting exactly what we need. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll work. In fact, oh my goodness, I could have done that with my original code, I'm pretty sure. Because I could have had it do a check with these as it goes up to just stop, to break out of the loop. Right here. If it hit another white. No, but they weren't sorted. I wasn't going vertically on the column. Oh, yes, I was, because I was painting up if it hit. So if we set a new white, I would have to, oh no, that wouldn't work because of this. So when it shifted down, it would hit itself. Unless I set the previous one to 0, I could do that. Oh my goodness, did I just waste a bunch of time? I may have just wasted a bunch of time. Think. Because before, yeah, I could have just told it if it hit another white block, white text, to just stop painting. Does that work when it overlaps? No, it doesn't. If they overlap, then it'll paint both lines and I'll still have the problem. So it doesn't work for every scenario. Okay, that's good to know because we are doing something that's useful. Yeah, because if you have 2 heads of the drops overlapping, it will end up painting both of those again, which will still give us our flicker. So yeah, okay. I'm not wasting my time here. But the head of the drop is useful for our new update, which is cool. We do need to change this, though, to max columns. Or not, matrix columns. So it's going to go through each column. each column, and then we need to go through each drop in that column and paint it. So for, we need another II. For II equals 0, as long as II doesn't equal drops per column, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this today, everybody. We're going to get close though, I believe. Like that. And then we need this needs to be moved up. This is int drop ID equals II. Drops per column, and it needs to go through all three of them. Crap, I just messed this up. Yeah, I have a broken bracket. Okay, let's see if we can fix this really quick. Column 9. Column 13, column 9. So I need another one right there. There we go. We need to indent this before I get more confused, like that. There we go. Got a lot going on in this. Okay. Drops per column. Make sure that that's wrapped correctly. I believe it is. Yes, we are wrapped correctly. Okay. Drop ID. This isn't correct. Drop ID equals matrix sorted array, and this is I, and this is II. This gives us the ID that we're going to draw. We want to skip this if there's no drops in the column. Else, let's see here. Else move delay. This is scary. Because I might be writing to a bad position here. Because this might be -1. So we just need a check here to just break us out of this for loop if it's a -1. Yeah, so we just need to do a check. That's if drop ID is equal to -1. Sorry, I'm just thinking ahead. Break, because we need to tell it. I just realized, how are we telling in the sorted array for something to be -1 after, for example, if a drop switches columns after it respawns back up at the top? Because the drop goes down, and when it hits the bottom, it just picks a new random X and Y position above the screen to drop again. And so I need to make sure that in my matrix sorted array, I'm assigning -1 to a value again. So sort matrix. Yeah, so if it's -1, we just break out of this and we go to the next column because we're done. We're done shifting things down. We have to do that sort each time we move. That's correct. Comes back out. This matrix column does the next one. Yeah, I think we're good here. We just need to go through and update all of these to drop ID. can't change that one. Change, 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 change. These may not need to be changed. Move the drop down, and we cap its positions. Else, we shift it. So I think it's right here, actually. Yeah, it's right here. We reset its position. So we're going to have to set we're going to have to set that back to -1. V, 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 V. Just like that. So right here, we have to reset its Y position. So we need to set its current position in the sorted array to -1 equals -1, because it's not, assuming it's not in that column anymore. And then we need to assign it how do we do that? We have to reassign it once it gets shifted up. Oh, we run the same, so we're not worried about the Y position, that doesn't matter. The X position, we go up to our net, we basically run this again. So our X position, we sort it to a new column. And we just fit it anywhere inside of those 3 positions, and then it will sort itself out once another move is done. Put this up here. We set to change all these D's out. D. Okay, that's right. Yeah, I feel a little more confident about this now. We do need another one of these. Let's do 3 eyes. Like that. Like that. Okay. We're going to have to figure this out later. I'm not sure how we're going to get that, but okay. So we've just worked out what happens when the drop has reached the bottom, how we reassign it back to the top and set the matrix array position again. Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're just finding an empty slot that we can put that in, and it'll be sorted out later when we move. That column will be, whatever new column it goes to, will be sorted out again when a drop within that column moves again. It will sort it to the correct draw position. Cool. Got that. Now we need to actually draw the array. And currently we aren't doing that according to our matrix sorted array. I don't believe. Let's see here. And you know what? I think I need to reverse all this. We want the smallest number at the bottom, because what we're doing is we're painting from, so we hit the first drop, it's near the top of the screen, paints back like that, and then we do the second drop because we know it's further down on the Y position in that column, it'll paint back, but we want it to stop painting when it hits that the head of the first drop that we did, and so on. Yeah, that's solved. Yeah, goes back, and then it does that for each column as it goes across. And we're already doing that for each column. We're going through each drop. Let's see here. Yeah, so we're doing, yeah, so we just need to reverse that. So it's doing the top. Yeah, and this will save us a little bit if we do that. So on our sort matrix, I think all we need to do is this. We just need to switch these to greater than. So if A is greater than B, yep, it shifts A down because we want the biggest ones last. So the ones further down in the column are last, or painted last. So yeah, we just need to switch these to greater than. I'm pretty sure that works. So A gets shifted to B, and if A is greater than C, then C is put into B, and so A's at the end, and then we do a check on B and C, or on A and B. We check the positions on those, and then if B, which is in slot A, is greater than C, which is in slot B, then we shift, we swap those. Yep, that's right. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do there to make it so it's the biggest numbers are last and the smallest ones are first. And now it'll be drawing that column from top to bottom. And we assign that here, and it goes through, it actually paints this, so we just need to check. So there's still an issue that if they overlap, and I could add an if statement for this, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So there is still going to be a little bit of doubling up, but it's not going to show up as a flicker on the screen, because what we're doing is we're painting this abstract number array first, and then our paint operation just goes through that array and paints. Yeah. Yep, that's right. In fact, I figured out another way that we could optimize this. Well, it actually might slow it down. Yeah, we're just going to paint the whole array. See, what would be useful is if we copied the array, so before we updated it, so we have an old version of the array, so when we paint, we're comparing those two, and so if it's already black or it hasn't changed, we don't paint it again. That would optimize this even further. My concern with that is copying that array. How quick that... Oh, you know what I do? I just do 2 pointers and I'd swap the pointers, kind of like a double buffered screen for VSync, kind of the same idea. Not going to worry about that right now, because that can be added in after we do this. So I'm going to run make just one more time. Matrix drop 418. 418. What? Matrix drop has no member named position. Matrix drop isn't there. What's going on? Something else is going on. 503 equals ID. am I doing up here? Oh, it's just the column. Let's see here. Column. Max. It's random. Okay. I just need to figure out where I get my column ID from here because we're not passing it through the function anymore. So I just got to make sure I'm assigning that correctly here. Oh yeah. Why? So why am I doing that? Can I change that up here too? I may be able to do that. Equals ID init matrix. Init matrix drop. This is wrong. I don't need to pass I in here. That is wrong. So we can get rid of this. And then down here, all we're doing is checking. So we're picking a column right here. I didn't need to pass in the column in the for loop. That didn't make any sense. This is picking the column that we're looking at to check to see if there's an empty space marked with -1. And if there is, yes. And if there is, we just assign that value to that position. Oh, no. Oh, yes, we did need that because we need to know the ID. Okay, no, that's right. We need to keep that. We need to keep that. That was wrong. Because we're assigning the drop ID here, which is, we come up here, it's this right here. Question is this getting destroyed before we get out? No, it's not. Okay. So we just assign it this equals drop ID, like that. There we go. That's fixed. This is why you run make, even though you know you're not going to be able to see anything on screen yet. See, now this one's got me really confused down here. 418, because I don't even see that here. This matrix drop doesn't even exist here. Do you see it? I don't see anything quote matrix drop. Makes no sense. Error screensaver C 46, column 46. Where is that? Column 46. Oh, whoops. Right here, 46. There's no position. Or has, yeah, it doesn't have, oh, I didn't spell it right. That's weird that it would say that. This makes no sense to me, but it was I just didn't spell it right. It's bizarre. Okay. Okay, we're good there. Okay, where was I? So we've sorted it. And now we need to repaint the column for each drop in that column, which is potentially 3. Which I'm doing here. See, when we're having to do all 3, potentially all 3 drops again. And here's the thing, it's not always going to be 3 drops. But if it is, it seems like it's going to take more time. So the question is repainting 3 drops per column, in this case 3 drops because that's our max, is that going to be less than just painting the same block in that text, where a text block is, potentially painting that 3 times? So I don't know if we're actually saving time here. I don't know. We're close though. Okay, drops per column. And then we're going through each drop. Yeah, we're going through each drop. And if it's moved, we go through and then we shift it. This is where we might lose speed. Our columns, our state array is already going to be painted. Oh, maybe this doesn't matter if we go up or down now. Yeah, I don't think this matters if we paint that column from the top down or the bottom up at this point, because what we're doing is we're only updating the one that is moved. So this sorting thing might be stupid. What we're doing. We're going to keep it for now because unless it screws things up, it's not going to screw things up. If my hunch here is correct. But we will be able to remove it later, potentially, and save ourselves some time. Or some cycles. What's important is we're painting to our state array. Make sure it's inside of this. Oh yes, it does still. Well, it'll just paint it twice. It's not a big deal. We always want it to paint the white block. But then on these further blocks, we need to do a check that if it is a white block again, we need to just stop painting. So we can wrap greater than 0. I'm not going to try to figure that logic out. We just need to wrap this in another if statement that checks for that. If, right here. Like that. There. That just checks if, as we're painting that drop up, if we hit 1 again. So, ooh, do I need to bound it? Drop trail position is less than -3, so we're not worried about that. Yeah, I still need this. We need to make sure it's within our array, and it's done drawing for this drop. So we just need an else. Is that right? I want to make sure I get this right. else, else we just break from the loop because we're done drawing that specific drop. And then it goes back to this loop, which is, oh no, it breaks out of this one, goes back to this, drops per column, so it finds the next drop and draws that. And we are going from the top to the bottom, so always draw the first one because there won't be any white blocks there. Oh, wait a second. Nope. It won't. We do need to tell it. So the issue is that the previous block before it shifted is going to be white, and so we need to tell it that trail position selected block array does not equal 1 as it goes up. Yeah, so this doesn't work. What we need to do is paint right here. If we need to paint back, we need to paint the previous block to a something other than 1 to make sure we don't stop our loop prematurely. So we take selected block, if selected block minus, I'm doing that here, reverse minus matrix columns is greater than 0. Then we paint it. So this is selecting that, we're checking that block to make sure it's still within our array so we aren't accidentally painting outside of our array. Wrap that in parentheses. It's greater than state array. Then we paint that one to, let's just paint it to 0 equals 0 because it's going to be drawing one of these anyways. So it doesn't, as long as it isn't 1, it doesn't matter what number we paint there. Selected block minus 40 like that. Okay. And then it should continue painting. That should fix that. Yep. Yeah, that'll work. And it gets to here, does not equal 1. Then we paint our greens back until it either hits 1 or it reaches the end. Yeah. And we still got to figure out this erasing thing. In fact, what I'll do, it took me a while to figure this out, so I kind of wish I didn't have to get rid of it, but we'll figure it out again. Not a problem. We're going to comment out all that because we aren't going to paint anything inside this loop. We're not painting anything. We're not painting anything to the actual display buffer. What we're doing is we're building our array that represents that screen buffer, and then according to that screen buffer we'll paint, which I think we're 2 now. We can set that up, and I only have a few more minutes left, so let's see if we can do this. And this is a lot easier because after we update our array, that's what we're doing here. Update the state array. We're updating the entire state array here. And after we do that, so we've gone through every column and every potential drop in that column, which is potential of 3 drops per column. We've gone through that and we've updated them. We should have, by going through every column, we should have hit every drop, because we assigned every drop on this init matrix drop to a column. And so as long as our max number of drops doesn't outdo how many drops we can have per column, each drop should be assigned to a column when we first init. And then when we update, we go through each column, we update each drop in that column either by dropping its timer down or moving it because its timer's hit 0. And when it moves, we move it down, and if it's gone beyond the screen, we reassign it to a new column, and we make sure that there's an empty slot in that column, and we make sure that we assign the previous slot it was in to -1. So that's open again for another drop to fill later on in the program. Is this simple enough for you? Are you keeping track? To be honest, I don't know if I'm keeping track of all of it. I am definitely not that intelligent, logically speaking. I usually have to pass through stuff multiple times before I finally figure it out. Eraser from previous move. Oh, I was doing that twice for some reason. Wonder why. Because I need to comment it out here as well. Oh, technically we're still doing it right here. In fact, this simplified our code. It reduced how many lines of code anyways by quite a bit. Okay, so now we need to paint the array. Let's see if we can do that. So what we're doing is we're just going through our state array. So for, and since we're out of all of our other loops, we can go back to just one I. I does not equal, and I think I have it defined for the total size of that array. Matrix array size, right there, columns and rows. So I can just do that, and it's just going to go through that entire array. I plus plus. And this is why I kept some of this code, so I can figure this out again. So our first thing we do is we Control Shift D, there we go, is we set what character we're going to be painting from the character map, which I don't think we need to. Oh, maybe we no, this is just I, like that. We're just going through it now. Control Shift D, thank you. There we go. So it goes through, it selects the character according to the number in the character array. This is normal, this is fine. And then on the matrix screen, it's X position, which I commented out earlier right here. We need to set the position to paint to on the screen that we actually see by using, we're not going to use the drop position actually. What we're going to use is we're going through this array. The X position will always be I modulo the matrix columns. It's just the remainder when we divide I by the matrix columns. That's the width, right? So when we divide that and get the remainder, that'll tell us which X position to write to times. So we get the remainder, and we have to times that by how many pixels each block is. And I have a define for that as well up here somewhere. Block pixel size X right there. Simple. I'm already doing it there. V. Character. Oh, we got to do the same thing here. Nope, that one's fine. That one's fine. And then finally our Y position. Man, I hope this works. I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. This was far too complicated to work the first time out. And that's okay. Hopefully I didn't bore you all to death today. This is a little rougher than I try to keep these coding streams simple. That way they're a little more entertaining. This ended up being a lot something I wasn't prepared for. That's why it was boring. So my fault. Okay, so this one is the same thing, but it's divided by matrix columns. This gives us the Y, because I, as it goes, so it hits 40, and if we divide that by the width, we'll get 1 times the pixel size, and that will put us 8 pixels down, and we start painting there. So, excuse me. And then, I don't even think we need to change this line. We're just painting from the font map, the font screen, that's what I called it here, to the matrix screen, what we're actually seeing on the display, and we're painting 8 by 8 pixels from the source, which is the matrix font screen. So that should be it. As long as we don't have any syntax errors. It looks like we have a few. 413. Warning, suggested parentheses around assignment. Oh, glad we found that. That would have confused me for a while. Go 547. Doesn't like something here. Oh, whoops. Duh, why did I put Y? This is times. There we go. Yeah, that should work. Build. See if there's any warnings. All right, I know the apprehension is palpable. That's not the right word. The anticipation. There we go. The anticipation's palpable. That's what I was looking for. Okay, let's give this a try. See how far it gets. We're not doing skunk. We're doing virtual jag. Okay. Oh, crash. Man. Darn it. Let's do this. Let's see if we can pinpoint the problem here really quick. The way we can do that is just by commenting stuff out. I am going to comment out. I'm not worried about all this. We can get rid of this for now. I'm not worried about the leave trail. That's not an issue. We're going to just get rid of update matrix. Let's see if it sits there. My guess is that's where the problem is, and it's a big function to have a problem in. Doesn't help us that much, I suppose. I just want to see if it crashes. See if it crashes before that, basically. Looks like we're fine. Doesn't look like we have a memory leak anywhere. Okay. So now, if we bring that back in, check it one more time. This is debugging on the Jag, by the way. For me, it's rather complex, at least for me, not being a coder, but I enjoy the logical puzzle side of things you unravel. Yeah, and hopefully I get it unraveled here. I think I have something that will improve the program. Okay, so the problem's definitely in that function. So we come back down here to update matrix, and I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to comment out this sort matrix, because I'm wondering if my logic was incorrect with the sorting stuff. Hey, we saw stuff draw there for just a second. And I think that's our problem. It's that sort. I think there's a problem elsewhere too, but there's something that's overflowing that's causing it to crash. So let's go look at our sort matrix column. Column ID to sort. So and that ID comes from that for loop, which is up here. Sort right here. And we're passing out. There's our problem. Oh, no. That's just initialization. Not worried about that. Right here. Here we go. We're passing in the column that we're sorting right there. So that's what's going on there. So that comes in. We've selected the column. We're selecting the first one, and if it's greater than 0, and the second one is greater than 0, then we go into the rest of this. So that's fine. It's our assignments going on here. That's our issue. And so what we do is we take those first IDs that are in that array and assign them to just some variables inside here. Yeah. And then we check to see if there's a third drop in that column that we need to sort as well, and we set it to there. We set it to the third to CID, and then we do the actual sorting. So if drop this ID, which we pulled from our array here, and if its Y position is greater than that of the second drop we're looking at, then we need to shift it further down in our list, which we do here. So we put B in position A and A in position B, so it shifts down one. And then for C, we do, if we do have a C, we check if A, which we've shifted down one, is greater than C, and if it is, we swap those. And so now C is in B and A is in C. Then we do one last check against B and C, which are in A and B, which are assigned to slots A and B respectively, and if A, which is IDB, is greater than C, then B, which is IDC, then we swap those because C is smaller than B. That looks all fine to me. The syntax looks good. We're looking at the right position. We're not selecting something outside of the array boundaries. Like, that all looks fine. And then we reassign those IDs here. This should be working. We can get rid of this. We don't need that. Huh. Yeah, this should be working. So if I commented it out, it was running, right? It wasn't crashing. Oh no, it was crashing. So there is another problem. So that's fine. Pretty sure that's fine. My guess is I'm probably just selecting, my eyes are messed up here. I'm probably selecting outside of the bounds of something else. So if drop ID columns per drop, drops per column, matrix column, so we're not going outside of this array with these. This is fine. Where else am I? Just gonna check this really quick. That's fine. This is fine because that X position will never go beyond 40. It'll only go to 0 to 39. This is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Pretty sure both of those are fine. This is the old position that we're updating to -1. That's fine. And then this is the new position that we've assigned. Here, let's do this. Let's see if we can be a little bit quicker. I am just going to comment that out. So there's no problem in there. State array. Select a block. That's fine. These are all fine. These were all working before. I don't need to worry about these lines. They were all working before. We can get rid of this. Position. Drop ID. I'm just wondering. No, my drop ID should never be -1. Well, I do assign it up here, but I check it as soon as I assign it. That if it's -1, we break from this loop. We move to the next column. Like, it should never. Yeah, it breaks. It doesn't go through any of the rest of this code. So it should Should work. So I don't think this is the problem here. Drop ID. Let's do this. Do I have a debug console here? Include common assets. Okay, I do. We have a console that we can use. A debug console. And I'm going to open that here. And what we're going to do is we're going to print this. I'm just worried that this value at some point is -1, or a value that's just outside of the array. Drop ID like that. Oh, whoops. Gotta. Drop that down. There we go. Come on. Didn't work. None of this. Okay, let's get draconian. Let's comment out this whole section. This whole section. This whole section. I gotta see where that actually starts. So wherever this ends. Yeah, so from here to here. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. There we go. Definitely something bad happening. Let's comment this out just to be safe. Oops. Okay. So we need to do an what is it? Debug console seek, and we're looking at debug console 0 seek set. I think that's how we write that. If I remember right, I'll find out here. What this, it's just gonna print one number there. Yeah, I think we do have a problem going on with our drop ID. Let's just try printing one of them here. 0, 0. Let's just see what that looks like. Make sure it's being initialized correctly. I don't think it is. Why is it initializing to 99? That's not what we're doing. So our sorted array here, it should be -1. Matrix. Where is it? There it is. Oh, no. Sort. Matrix sorted array. Matrix columns. Okay, we have that. matrix sorted array, columns, drops per column equals -1. Yeah, we're initializing everything in there to -1. So why are we getting 99? Here, let's make sure that that's what's happening by commenting out update array and just printing a value. Why did it do that? 248. Oh, must have forgotten a semicolon. Is it still there? Yep, it's still there. $73. Let's see here. Yeah, it should never be greater than 30. Right? That's our height, right? Which would be our rows. So yeah, 30. Should never be higher than 30. For some reason that's happening. Let's go look at our init function. Matrix drop, random matrix. Oh no. It's our X position, right? No. Okay, drops per column. Go to the column, pick an X, and then we assign it. Yeah. So it's never going to be bigger than 39. Sorry. Yes. Never going to be bigger than 39. Matrix columns. So this is 39. Do I have this assigned? Matrix columns. Yes, that's correct. So it's never going to be bigger than 39 there. And then it's assigning just the ID, which, yeah, so it can be bigger. Sorry, that's the number of drops. So 110, it can be up to 109. So that is correct. So I'm just mixing up something with the ID here. No, that's good. 79, that works just fine. I'm just going to put a for loop here so we can see. Make sure all of our values are good. So for this is just going to be debug equals 0 as long as y doesn't equal 45. This should keep it up for about a second. Y++. Let me just do a vsync command to pause it there for a bit. Crashes. Why did it crash? Didn't even get to anything. Man. Wasn't it running just fine before? Oh, I gotta get off here soon. Why is it crashing? Shouldn't be crashing. There's literally nothing here to make it crash. What am I missing? Did I change something up here? Drops total. This should be fine. Man, is it just this? Oh, yeah. There's something I'm getting wrong here. Drops per column, goes through all three. Oh, it's just getting stuck in that loop. That's what's going on. Let's do that. That way it's not assigning anything to the array that might be out of bounds. Okay, cool. That is correct. Okay. Why is it crashing on that? Oh, it's working fine now. But there is some sort of error. It shouldn't be going up to a number that big. There is something wrong here. Position, random columns. That is fine. This is wrong. I think this is wrong. Matrix sorted array. This, because they're passing in the ID. No, this is right. This is selecting the column. That is correct. This is selecting 0, 1, or 2. And if it's -1, then we assign the ID, the drop ID, to that position. Why is that causing a bug? Here, let's do 64. Let's do a few less of those. I don't see why that would fix. I'm just wondering. No, there's no way we're hitting a memory boundary. Why would that be a problem? Oh, equals. One. Length. That's fine. Move delay. Those are all fine. Those are all still good. Is sorted. If sorted is equal 0, which it always is, then we break. For I equals 0 and I doesn't drops per column. That's good. We're just selecting a column with this, and we're adding the drop. We're marking in the sorted array, matrix sorted array. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. This looks fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's comment this out. Maybe there is something still wrong with our sort function. Yep, there's something wrong with our sort function. And it looked like it was going outside of a memory boundary. That's what it looked like to me. We're going to give it our little pause here. This should still work. It's just going to slow down that number changing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we can see that. So there is something wrong with our sort function still. Somehow I'm selecting, I believe I'm selecting something outside of the array. We have selected our column. Position 0 is greater than 0, and it's greater than 2. I just don't see, there's no way I can select outside that array, right? Yeah, I don't think there's any way I can select outside of it. It's greater. Yeah, these wouldn't break anything. I'm just passing the same value around. So these wouldn't break anything. Oh. These might be causing a problem. Yep, that's our problem. There we go. Found it. I'm accidentally assigning -1. So what I need to do is actually move these inside of somewhere. Can I do that? Can I move it inside these if statements? So we know for sure, I think it's just a C that's causing the problem. So we just need to make sure that C is assigned here. In fact, yes. Because A and B will always work if this is true. You may have lost me. I may have dropped out there for a second. Sorry if I dropped out there. I just got a notification that OBS broke its connection. But then it came back, so. Okay. I think I fixed that. It didn't crash. I had uncommented it there. I think we're fine. That was definitely a problem. So the issue was I was assigning -1 to a value that was then being used to look up something in the array. An array, you can never look at -1. It causes, it's a memory overflow. You're selecting something outside of the bounds of the array, and that's going to cause a crash. So I think we're good. I'm going to get rid of that delay, comment these out. I'm going to bring everything back in because I have faith that it'll work this time. Kind of sucks that I have to rely on faith. Oh, I didn't bring everything back in. 1 second. There's still some stuff down here. There we go. And I'm planning on working on this again a little bit tomorrow, and hopefully that doesn't encourage you not to watch. Oh no, it crashed. Okay, let's just move through our code and uncomment things again. Okay, it's still crashed. Let's uncomment everything in here. I think everything in here is fine because this code essentially hasn't changed, but let's just double check. Yeah, so that isn't the problem. That's definitely fine. I'm not worried about that. Let's see if this is the problem again. Oh, please crash. I thought we fixed that. Apparently we didn't. Should be still drawing something, by the way. I don't know why it isn't drawing anything on the screen. We should be getting at least garbage on the screen, which is weird. Well, it is 9 o'clock where I'm at, so I think I have to call it good for today. Yeah, this has really got me stumped. I'm gonna have to spend some time at lunch seeing if I can get this worked out. I was hoping that commenting this out would still make it crash, meaning that this is all right, this sort matrix array, but there's still something I'm missing here, apparently. So does not equal -1. Yeah, we assign that to C. Yep, that's correct. That should be working. These should never be -1. They must still be hitting. No, it would crash if it was hitting -1 before anything else. Oh, I guess it is getting that far, isn't it? Wait a second. Did I even uncomment? Okay, let's double check. Gosh, I swear that's working. let's do this. Let's run it in our function just over and over again. See how tough it is. Yeah, so there is something still wrong in that function. Because it should be able to do that over and over again without a problem. But it's having a hard time for some reason. Oh, it's sitting right here in front of me. 0, 0. It's got to be a -1 issue again, because I guarantee you if I put just 0 here, 0 here, it will work. So, because it will get rid of all the -1s. So if we test that same scenario again where it just does it over and over again forever. Oh no, it's still crashing. Now I'm just confused. Drops total. Why would it do that? Matrix columns. Okay, yeah, I have to get off. So I don't want to break away because I feel like we're close. At least I think it feels that way. But anyways, I'm gonna call it good for today, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope it wasn't too boring. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little more interesting. Maybe I'll iron this out at lunchtime, see if I can get it working, and then tomorrow we'll have some fun playing with the color of it, and maybe type a message in the middle or something. Of course, that may be a lot harder now the way I'm doing it. No, actually, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be harder at all because I have a separate array that I'm updating. So, but Matt Smith, thanks for coming. Dataset user, if you're still here, thanks for coming as well. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be streaming again. I'll try to. I was about a half hour earlier today, or near a half hour. Was it a half hour? Yeah, I think it was a half hour earlier today. So I'm gonna try doing that again tomorrow. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like the video, share the video if you think other people might like it, and see you tomorrow. Bye.